A lot of y'all have asked me how I feel about Spirit Airlines going belly up, and I know that's because I do have a lot of jokes about them.
Is the air travel equivalent of trying to figure out which hotel you're going to stay at and then going camping.
But I do feel thankful for Spirit. Here's why. Spirit Airlines began in June of 1992 with its first flight going from Detroit to Atlantic City. Just a month earlier, in May of 92, the Dallas Cowboys began their first minicamp on the road to becoming Super Bowl champions that year. Years later, in 2012, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I promise it's all going to tie together. It was scary, and I was sad, but I'm also an optimist, and I wanted to find something good in the whole mess. Spirit was one of those things. When most airlines were prioritizing their high-end customers, Spirit saw that even the mediocre seats were still pretty pricey and thought, what if we created an airline whose entire business model was mediocrity but priced properly? So they created a plane where there was no first class, only variations in coach. In fact, Spirit was the only airline where you could actually fly assistant coach. Another joke. The 92 Cowboys were led by their coach, Jimmy Johnson, who would not tolerate anything short of excellence. Pretty sure Spirit would have just ticked him off. But for an upstart comedian, in 2012, Spirit gave me the option to fly home frequently to spend time with my dad while still pursuing my career in New York City. First, I flew home 4 times a year, then 6, and eventually once a month. The weird thing about Alzheimer's is it gives you a countdown, like sands in an hourglass, reminding you to say what you need to say and do what you need to do before you hit that dark gray, where moments of any substance can't fully be shared. The weird thing about Spirit is that it is kind of like camping. Did they have Wi-Fi? Yes. Was it dial-up? Also yes. I brought my own food and water and just a backpack, and I was able to travel a lot for very little money. The weird thing about the Dallas Cowboys is that they fired that coach after winning 2 consecutive Super Bowls, and they haven't hoisted that trophy since the 90s. The weird thing about my optimistic brain is that my goal became making Alzheimer's the best thing that ever happened to my dad. So in February 2018, while the whole world prepared for Philly and New England to face off in Super Bowl LII, which you can't convince me is a real number, I used my newly acquired oxymoron, Spirit Airlines elite status, to fly home and watch the Super Bowl with my dad. Technically, it was a recording of the 1992 game between Dallas and Buffalo. And for the first time in 30 years, my dad and I watched the Dallas Cowboys win the big one, 52-17. I didn't know that Alzheimer's or Spirit was going to play that big a part in my journey. But you got to play the hand you're dealt. And sometimes you win that hand, 52-17. If you like this video, give me a follow, a like, a share, and maybe come to one of my live stand-up comedy dates.